Wednesday show, Wednesday show, Wednesday show. Hello, everyone. Oh, we're coming to you guys live from my condo. Oh, we were going to come to you live from Magic Kingdom because I thought today Magic Kingdom was open till midnight, but in reality it was tomorrow. So I was very sad because in my head I was like, oh, we're gonna go on lots of rides for the Wednesday show this week, and then I was like, oh, we're not. So here we are. We're gonna be talking about Disney with you guys. We're gonna be having you choose the topic as usual for the episode tonight. Also, it's crazy. I was just going through. We are literally 6 weeks away from our one or not our 100th, our 750th episode is. Wait, let's see here. That's 745, 46, 47, 48, 49, so 50. It'll be the night before the 5K for the marathon weekend. It's going to be our 750th episode. I think we figured that another time too, probably like last week. But still, happy Thanksgiving Eve! Yeah. So I have a few ideas for what we could do our show about tonight. We're gonna let people come on for a few minutes. But how's everyone doing? Is everyone doing well? Hopefully everyone's doing well out there. I have an idea for an episode which we've never done before, but we kind of like episodes we've done before, where you guys it'll be kind of like an Ask the Expert, but not really an Ask the Expert. It would be more of a what are you thankful for episode, and it would be what are you thankful for Disney style, and then we'll go off of those topics and talk about fun facts, history, etc., based off of those topics. I don't know if you guys would be interested in doing that, but that's kind of the idea that I have in my head. Otherwise, we'll have that as one of our three options. We'll do three options today, and that will be one of our three options. So yeah, I also figure it is the day before Thanksgiving, hence the Christine they're saying Happy Thanksgiving Eve. Unless you're just saying Happy Thanksgiving to a person whose name is Eve. Happy Thanksgiving Eve. Uh, so usually when we have an episode that is the day before a holiday, Thanksgiving's our most frequent one because it's the Wednesday show and Thanksgiving's always on Thursdays. Due to that, there are a lot of times where we just have a very, very, very quiet crowd of people because a lot of people are traveling or whatnot, and that's fine. So we're going to go through and we're going to make the best of what we have. Hopefully, people are going to interact. So we have a lot of stuff to talk about, but we are going to hopefully we'll have a crowd tonight. If we don't have a crowd, if it's a select few, that's amazing too. I am thankful for every person out there. And I will wait for my usual. I always do a Thanksgiving thing at the end of the episode on the day on Thanksgiving Eve. It's apparently Eve's holiday today. So what's up, Eve? We do have an Eve that follows us too. She'll write to me every now and then. So Eve, if you are watching, today is your episode. All right, let's get this party started. We're going to start the 744th episode of the Wednesday show in 5, 4, 3, 2. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 744th episode of the Wednesday show. Today is November 22nd, 2023. I'm your host, as always, Brent Dutch. Hello. I looked down at the thing to figure out what today's date was, and I saw the 11, and I was like, wait a minute, is that November? Yeah, it's November. Today we're going to be going through and having it, so you guys are going to choose our topic of discussion as soon as we finish our news for the week. So let's get to our news for the week. As always, thank you everyone out there who's been joining us for our Saturday in the Park. If you didn't already know, every single Saturday, right over on my YouTube channel, we do a live broadcast from some place found throughout the Walt Disney World Resort. You never know where we're going to be, but I promise you we will be coming to you live from Disney. So make sure you join us every single Saturday at 1 o'clock Eastern Time right over there. Also, if you did not already know, speaking of YouTube, I do have a YouTube channel. Some people are watching that right now, the show. Hello, people who are watching on YouTube. And hello, people who are watching on the From Screen to Theme Facebook page too. So if you did not already know, we do have it. So we have the YouTube channel, and because of that, every single day we do have a brand new video out from someplace found throughout the Walt Disney World Resort. Today's video takes a look at the gingerbread house along with the Christmas tree over at the Grand Floridian. And then in addition to that, we are also doing a brand new YouTube short every day, which always comes out at 6 o'clock Eastern time. So make sure you're checking out both of those on a daily basis. Give them a like, give them a comment, share with a friend, and if you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe as well. Speaking of subscribers, let's take a look at the starting number here. And if we continue going up in subscribers as the show goes on here, we will go into extra innings as well. So we are starting off with 3,478 subscribers, which is a massive increase from last week. Where were we at last week, now that I think about it? This has been a very good week for our subscribers. We're up 47 since last week at this time. So if we go up, we're 2 away from getting into 3,480, and I would love if we hit 3,500 subscribers by the end of this coming up weekend. So tomorrow, when you are gathering with your family and friends, and I'm gathering with my castle, make sure that you tell your family and friends, you know what you should do? You should subscribe to Brent Dodge on YouTube. And your family and friends would say, that's a great idea. And they'll subscribe, and their life will change forever. Oh, happy Thanksgiving. Oh, yeah. I had someone come in the other day, and they called me TBD, and no one I know calls me TBD anymore. So it's nice. TBD stands for the Brent Dodge, by the way. So, okay, so we're going to give you guys 3 options for what our show is going to be about tonight. Right now, we don't have a lot of people in the chat room. So if you are in the chat room, say, hey, hey, hey. Okay, so here are your 3 options for tonight's episode. We can do a We Are Thankful episode where you guys are going to give us things that you're thankful dealing with Disney. And what we'll do from there is whatever topic you give us, we will go through and talk about fun facts, history, whatnot. It'll be kind of like our Connect the Dots episodes, but not quite. We're going to be making it up as we go. 2, our second option that we have is that we can go through and continue our Disney 100 series. If you don't already know, because of the 100-year anniversary of Disney, we have been going through and doing every single year and different things that have happened in Disney history on those years. So if you want to, we can continue that series as well. Or for a third option for today, there we go. Hey, hey, hey. Oh, yeah. Happy Thanksgiving. Hey, hey, hey. Or for our third option, I'm trying to think of a good third option. I watched the movie Wish last night, so we can do a Disney movies episode as well, which we'll figure out what that is as we go through here. So you guys have about 2 minutes to vote through on which one you want. Our 3 options is a I am thankful for X, Y, and Z episode, a 100 years episode, or a Disney animated movies episode. Throw your votes into the comments below, and we will go through and tally them up and figure out what our episode's going to be about tonight. I always like giving you guys the option. I had someone the other day who was like, oh, how much prep do you do for these episodes? I was like, so if we have a specific topic, I'll do some research beforehand and just make sure that I've got my facts up to, everything. Otherwise, what I will do is I will, we're just going off whatever's in my head. And there's a lot of useless knowledge in that head, so we got to get it all out here. Okay, keep on throwing your votes down. We have the options of a Disney movies episode, a Disney 100 episode, or a I am thankful for X, Y, and Z and Disney episode. Throw your votes down. We don't have a lot of people who are voting. Right now we have 1 vote for movies. And that's the only topic I'm not completely positive on how I'm going to do it because I just pulled it out of thin air. Oh, I have an idea. I do have an idea of how we could possibly do it. Okay, you guys have about 45 more seconds. Throw your votes in right now. Like I said, we have the chat room. It's showing that we're getting more and more people in the chat room, but no one's actually typing in the chat room. So hopefully the chat room's working. We got some people typing, but you are thankful to votes. Is that what your option is? Is you're going to vote for the thankful episode? I am thankful for X, Y, and Z. You guys have about 30 seconds left. I'm counting that as a thankful episode vote. All right, we got another vote for movies. I'm counting down by the clock. We have 15 seconds left here. It looks like movies will probably be our winner for this evening. So we got 4, 3, 2, 1. Movies it is. Okay. Now let's try to figure out how we're going to do the movie episode. So this is my thought. I'm just spitballing here. But what we're going to do is we're going to do a Connect the Dots episode dealing specifically with movies. So I need you guys out there to throw your favorite Disney movies, whether they're animated or live action or a combination of the two, like Mary Poppins, or what have you. And what we're going to do is we're going to start going through and talking about fun facts about those specific movies, but we are going to weave everything together and have it so all movies Disney are connected in some way, shape, or form. Let's do this thing. Unless someone out there throw a movie in there. Otherwise, I will throw a movie out there. I'm gonna give people the option to possibly throw a movie out there. The chat room is so quiet tonight. This is how it typically is the night before a thing. Wish. Okay, let's start off with the movie Wish. Keep throwing your favorite movies out there, and we will continue talking through. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're not going to do any spoilers about Wish because it's been out for like 24 hours. And I don't want anyone to be like, wait a minute, how come you just gave away all this stuff? So let's start off with Wish, and then we're going to somehow weave Wish into our next movie, which is up there, which is Wreck-It Ralph, and then go from there into Toy Story, and then whatever the next movie people throw out there, we will continue going through as well. So without going into any spoilers, Wish tells the story about a girl named Asha. Now, Asha lives in a place called Romos, and she has it. So this kingdom has a king who is an all-powerful king who can grant any type of wish that anyone could really truly dream up about. First off, so before, because I'm afraid I'm gonna spoil things, so I'm gonna do my best not to spoil. Okay, so here's a few things that I want to talk about Wish before we go into our next one here. Number one, if you have not seen this yet, go see it because I think it's a great film. When I first got out of it, I was like, this is pretty good. And then all day today, I keep on thinking about it. And the more I think about it, the more I'm like, oh, it was such a good movie. It was so much better than I originally anticipated it to be. And one of the things about it was it's one of the things that I didn't like about other Disney movies that have completely grown on me as well. But there's a lot of different characters in the film. And that was my biggest gripe. If you actually go back to one of our earliest episodes of the Wednesday show, it was right after Princess and the Frog came out way back in 2009. That's right. That's how long we've been doing this on Wednesdays. Every single Wednesday, by the way. We've only missed one, and that was when I was like deathly ill one year. Or one day, not a year. Oh, man. Can you imagine a whole year being deathly ill? That was not the case. I was deathly ill for one night, and that was the only time that we ever missed it. But if you go back to 2009, you watch the Wednesday episode where we talk about Princess the Frog, the big thing I say about Princess the Frog is the fact that I did not like how there were so many different side characters in the thing. I mean, you've got Tiana, you've got Naveen, you've got Ray, you've got Grandmother Odie, Mama Odie. Now I'm drawing a blank. And there are so many different characters that are in the film. And I was like, when I first watched it, I was like, oh, I like the music, but there's just so many characters that I have to keep track of that I'm not a big fan of. And then as I've watched Princess the Frog over and over and over again, it's now probably one of my favorite Disney princess films or favorite Disney films in general, just because I love the complexity, how complex it is. Because there are all these different storylines going on, and there are all these different characters. And the more I watch it, the more I'm like, oh, I appreciate how they actually do have all these characters coming from different spots and bringing them all together. That's how Wish felt as well, where there were a lot of characters. And while I was watching the movie, I was like, there's too many characters in this movie. And then after actually stepping back and spending 24 hours of reflection on it, I started to come to the realization that yes, there are a lot of characters in it, but yes, every single one of those characters actually does have a very vital role in the film. And at the start of the film, I was like, I don't understand why they're throwing all these people at us. And now after watching it and after having 24 hours to reflect on it and taking a step back, I'm like, it makes sense on why they had all these different characters. And it made me appreciate the film so much more. So I want to go see it again. But that's the other thing. So if you are going to go see this movie, and I highly recommend seeing this movie, one, stay through the whole credits, because one, in the credits, there's amazing little details that pay tribute to all different Disney films. And then there's a post-credit scene, and I'm not going to say what it is, but the post-credit scene literally brought a tear to my eye. It was so beautifully done that I would buy the DVD for that scene alone, because it was just such a well done scene that paid tribute all the way back to Walt Disney in some way, shape, or form. So, yeah, let's see here. Will it likely play on the Dream? Yes, it will definitely be playing on the Dream. So if you've ever done a Disney cruise, this is also just becoming a question and answer episode, but if you ever have done a Disney cruise, whatever Disney films are actually in theaters at that time, those films are also on the cruise ships as well. So on the Dream, there are going to be two different spots where you'll probably be able to watch it. There's going to be the different movie theaters, and then also up on the Jumbotron, sometimes they'll play the new movies up there, but typically it's going to be inside of the movie theater, Deck 4. Just, or is it Deck 5 on that ship? I think it's Deck 4. If only we had, let's see. We got, of course, I've got a personal navigator here. This navigator is from 2018, so quite old. But let's find out where the movies are, because some people are going on a cruise, and I'm extremely jealous that you guys get to go on a cruise and that I will not be on a cruise. All right, we've got entertainment lounges and bars. No. Well, wait, maybe, because the D Lounge is on there. D Lounge is Deck 4. And the theater, so Deck 4. Deck 4. Haha. I just wanted to make sure that I was right. Okay. So anyways, so while we're going through and talking about Wish, now Wish has so many different characters that are going through it, and all these different characters that connect to one another, and it's not as complex as other movies like, say, Wreck-It Ralph. Now, Wreck-It Ralph tells the story about Ralph, who is the star. Well, he's actually the villain of a video game called Fix-It Felix Jr. Don't forget the Jr. on there. And Fix-It Felix Jr. got his magic hammer from his dad. Fix it, Felix, as fast as you can. Use the magic hammer you got from your old man. Now, Fix-It Felix Jr., let's first off talk about one of my favorite parts of, not Fix-It Felix, about the movie Wreck-It Ralph. So Wreck-It Ralph came out in 2012, November of 2012 to be exact. Actually, it is 11 years old as of like last week. But before the movie Wreck-It Ralph came out, there was a short cartoon, which Disney does a lot of. Actually, fun fact, actually not so fun fact, is if you're going to go see Wish originally, the Disney 100 special that came out a few months ago, the Once Upon a Studio short cartoon, that was originally supposed to be before Wish, and then they decided to have it so it was released the day before the Disney 100. It came out on October 15th on ABC, and then they released it on Disney Plus on October 16th. Also, if you've not watched my breakdown of that video, make sure you go watch that breakdown as well over on YouTube. It is almost at 10,000 views, so make sure you go give it a watch, give it a like, and all the other fun stuff. But that's besides the point. So before the movie Wreck-It Ralph, they actually had it. So one of my favorite, actually, it was my favorite short cartoon before Once Upon a Studio from the last 30 years was out in front of Wreck-It Ralph, and that was the short Paper Man, which tells the story of two star-crossed lovers who are found at a train station, and then serendipity takes them into a wild ride until eventually they find each other once again. If you've never seen it, I highly, highly, highly recommend Paperman. I watch it at least once a month. It is available on Disney Plus. So if you've not seen that yet, make sure you go check that out as well. One of the fun facts about Paperman, then we're going to go into Wreck-It Ralph. I know you said Wreck-It Ralph, and now I'm going on and on and on about Paperman. So at the 2010 Destination D, no, 2012, at the 2012 Destination D over in Disneyland, maybe it was 10. But anyways, my dad and I went out there and we went to the original showing of Paperman. They actually played it for us a few months before, so it must have been 2012. They played it for us a few months before the short cartoon actually would debut, before Wreck-It Ralph, and they had the director there. And the director was talking about how when he came up with the idea of it, it was mainly due to the fact that he was always waiting for the train in the morning. And while he was waiting for the train, he would lock eyes with a stranger across the way. And for a fleeting moment, he would think, what if this is the love of my life? And then I would never see him again. And because of that idea, he came up with the idea of Paperman, where two people would meet on a train station, and then one would get on a train and potentially never see each other ever again. And then, of course, instead, we get an amazing love story where no words are spoken between the two. There is some laughter, but overall, not a lot happens in it. But overall, it is one of my favorite short cartoons of all time. Like I said, up until we got Once Upon a Studio last month, it was my favorite short cartoon of all time. But it came out before Wreck-It Ralph. And let's go through and talk a little bit about Wreck-It Ralph and how we're going to connect it to Toy Story here. So, Wreck-It Ralph would come out in 2012, and in the film, we have characters like Vanellope von Schweetz. We also have Sergeant Calhoun, Wreck-It Ralph, and then, of course, Fix-It Felix Jr. Those are going to be our four main characters in this film. Now, when they're going through, they actually take the whole thing takes place at Litwick's Arcade, and they kind of travel from game to game by going through. I was going to hold it up. I don't know. Can this get it? No, I can't hold it up that high. A power surge. So they go through a surge, and that's how all the video game characters can go from one location to another location. Now, when they were going through and creating this film, they wanted to have it so the actual directors and animators for the film would actually be able to experience what it was like to go into a cartoon. So they actually shrunk them all down to the side. No. So in the film, we do mainly focus on three different games. We have, obviously, Fix-It Felix Jr., we have Hero's Duty, and then, of course, we have Candy Crush as well. In Candy Crush, are there any nods to the animators of Wreck-It Ralph in the pub in the movie? Yes. Ooh, let's talk about that too. Haha. So, well, I don't even remember. Oh, and then Candy Crush as well. So actually, if you go through and if you look at the high scores that are found throughout the game, you'll find some on Candy Crush. You'll find some in Wreck-It Ralph in the actual arcade game, and you'll find it in the pub. You'll also find it at Sergeant Calhoun's. Much like a typical arcade game where you could actually go through and you could have it. So, you know what? This is what we're going to do. Throw your questions about Disney movies out there because I can't think of how I'm going to connect this to Toy Story. And I don't want to fumble around. So keep on throwing your questions like this because I like this better. We're switching it up. We're doing an audible in the middle of the thing. All right. So anyways. Well, so when you're actually going through and watching the movie, there are several different characters or different high scores that are found in the arcade games. Because if you ever played an arcade game, when you actually go through and you play these different things, typically what they'll do is they'll have it so you can enter your score if you get one of the top 10 scores. And so to pay tribute to the different animators and the different directors and the different people who actually work in the studio, you will see several different things in there. And most of those high score characters or the high score things are a nod to the different people who either worked on the film or their family members. That's kind of that of most things that Disney does. Like if you ever go on to Radiator Springs Racers over at Disney California Adventure, all of the license plates are the initials of different animators, or Imagineers over there. And then the three numbers are typically either their birth dates or something else that happens with them, because some of them might have been born on November 22nd, and then you have four numbers, and that doesn't make sense with those license plates that they have there. So while we're also going to be talking about Wreck-It Ralph, we'll go to Toy Story in just a second. But we'll do a few more fun facts about Wreck-It Ralph before we go into Toy Story. No, that's all I have. No. So a few of the different ones that we have, or a few different fun facts that we have, is in the movie you actually see Sonic the Hedgehog from the popular game Sonic the Hedgehog. The reason they actually have him is originally Disney went to get Mario. It's a Mario. And Nintendo actually said, unfortunately, we are not going to let you have Mario in this game. So they had to switch things up, and they contacted Sega, who owns Sonic the Hedgehog, and they said, yeah, we'll give you Sonic the Hedgehog for this movie. So that is why we see Sonic the Hedgehog in this movie. All right, let's move on to Toy Story. Keep throwing your either movie suggestions out there for us to do some fun facts or questions specifically about different Disney movies, and we will continue going through and answering those questions. Toy Story, you've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. Okay, so let's do a few minutes here about Toy Story before we move on to our next one. So first off, Toy Story was the very first ever fully computer animated film. It came out in 1995, actually November of 1995, right around the same time as today. Actually, it wasn't today. I think it was tomorrow. I think it might have been the 23rd. I'm not a million% positive on that. I'll have to double check my things, but it was 100% November of 95. I just can't think of the date. I want to say the 23rd. Could be wrong though. But anyways, in the movie, we have a few different things that most people just kind of overlook through the years. First off, have you ever taken a look at those kids that come over to Andy's birthday party? Yeah, they might look like Andy because they are. So, because this was the very first ever computer animated film, fully computer animated film, they didn't have as much time as they probably would have liked to actually go through and animate the film. So, in order to have it so all these kids would show up for Andy's birthday party, they wanted to have it so, obviously they didn't want to have him stood up by a bunch of kids. But if you look at all the different kids in the film, every single one of them that comes to the birthday party are Andy, just with a different hair color or a different colored shirt. And that's it. There's absolutely no difference about the faces between Andy and the other kids. In fact, it could have just been like a quintuplet, quadruplet. What would be 16 kids? That's what we have in this situation, where every single kid in that town just happens to be having the same birthday, but only going to Andy. But, well, Andy's birthday, oh, wait a minute, this is a conspiracy theory. Because you would think that if all of them were the same kid, they would all share the same birthday. So why are they all going to Andy's birthday party? But then they also say, oh, they must have moved the birthday party earlier because of the move that's coming up. I have a yes. Okay, so anyways, so that is one thing to look out for next time you are watching the movie. Also, on top of that, if you are watching the movie and you get to the part where they are in Sid's house, you'll notice that there is a Binford toolbox that is stuck on top of the crate that Buzz Lightyear is sitting on top of, or nope, Woody's in the crate, and then on top of it is a Binford Tools. Binford Tools is the famous tool brand that was actually used in the TV show Home Improvement, again, starring Tim Allen, who voices Buzz Lightyear to the rescue. So while you're there, that is a nod to him in the film as well. Also, this is actually one of these things that I've had a lot of people ask me questions about recently, and it is true. So if you look at the different carpet that is found in Sid's house, it may look familiar to you if you're not just a Disney movie fan, but you're just an all-around general movie fan like myself. And if you've ever watched the movie The Shining, which came out back in 1980, I actually know the year for that too. Well, that's surprising. But anyways, starring Jack Nicholson, it is a horror film. But one of the people who works at Pixar, who works as a background artist, is a fan of The Shining, and he always tries to put something in the background, because he works in the backgrounds of the movies, that is a nod to that film. So in this film, it is, in fact, the carpet that is on the ground heading over towards the room where the dad is watching TV. That is actually the same carpet pattern that you can find inside of The Shining. Now, in addition to that, we'll do one more fun fact. Keep on throwing your movies into the comments. Otherwise, we're going to have a shorter episode than we want to have tonight. So keep throwing your either questions in the comments or the different Disney movies that you want us to talk about in the comments for us to continue going through here. So in addition to that, let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is Toy Story 2. Now, The contract with Disney. Now, first off, let's say if you are a fan or if you are younger than some people like myself, you may not remember a time when Disney and Pixar were two completely separate companies. But in 1995, when Toy Story came out, they were in fact two different companies. In fact, we would see several different movies that would be going through with Disney just owning the rights to distribute these films, but it would not have the rights to the actual films themselves, which is going to bring us to Toy Story 2. So in Toy Story 2, the entire plotline of the movie was completely changed from what its original plotline was. Because at that point, Disney had the rights to the movie sequels. So in reality, Disney, the fireworks just started. Can you hear it? I don't know if you can hear it. Probably can't hear it. Magic Kingdom fireworks just started. It's a Halloween party tonight. But they own the rights to the sequels of the movies. They just didn't own the complete rights to the actual film itself. So when it came to things like a Toy Story 2, Toy Story 2 originally was going to be a direct-to-video film that was not going to be put out by Pixar at all. It was just going to be solely a Disney film created by Disney. And then when Pixar found out, they said, no, 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 no. We want to have it so we own the rights to these movies as well. And so Disney said, okay, if you want to, we can work together. And they threw out pretty much the entire script for Toy Story 2. And they started all over with the idea that Woody has now been taken away by Al and from Al's Toy Barn. And speaking of which, after Toy Story came out, Toy Story characters were insanely popular. I can vividly remember in 1995, my Aunt Charlotte was freaking out because one of her grandkids wanted a Woody doll, and she didn't know what that meant. But that's all they wanted for Christmas. They wanted a Woody doll, and she couldn't find it anywhere because they were so hard to find. Now, what happened was this caused a lot of retailers to start going through and having it so they started ordering in bulk all these different characters. And because they started to order in bulk, when they started to get all these different characters in stock in their toy form, they all of a sudden had an abundance of them because they ran out of people who were interested in buying them, because everyone who wanted to buy it probably found a different place to buy it. So if you watch Toy Story 2 and they're going through Al's Toy Barn and there's all those different Buzz Lightyears there, Toy Guide Barbie goes through and she points out that because of high demand, we have several different Buzz Lightyears. That is actually a nod to the fact that most I don't know why I keep on seeing realtors. Most retailers, after the movie Toy Story came out, they did order an abundance of Buzz Lightyear dolls to try to keep up with demands. And when they did that, they just couldn't keep up. And that's why there's all those Buzz Lightyear dolls inside Toy Story 2. It's just a real joke that's making fun of the real world. All right, let's move on to our next one. This could be our last one, unless you guys start throwing more movies out there or more questions out there. Keep throwing things into the comments below. Like I said, usually on the night before Thanksgiving, we usually do have a pretty quiet show. So it is fine. But I know there's some of you out there, so keep on throwing your questions out there. But we are moving on to the Rescuers Down Under. There's the Rescuers Down Under. Okay. Let's first talk about the most amazing fact about the Rescuers Down Under. Now, first off, I would like to point out that when you go through, well, maybe not you guys, but when young Brent used to go through and be like, okay, I need to know the years that every single Disney movie came out, and I still do that. But back in the day, I used to go through and I would like train myself and be like, oh, okay. So 1988, Oliver and Company. 1999, Little Mermaid. 1990, The Rescuers Down Under. And I used to always laugh at myself. No, not at myself. But I would always used to laugh as a teenager about the fact that if you go through and think about the most influential Disney movies of the 1990s, most people would never say The Rescuers Down Under. But in reality, they would probably say every other movie that came out in the 1990s, because starting in 89, we had The Little Mermaid. 1990, we had Rescuers Down Under. 1991, Beauty and the Beast. 92, Aladdin. 94 was The Lion King. 95 was Pocahontas. 96 was The Hunchback of Notre Dame. 97 was Hercules. 98 was Mulan. And 1999 was Tarzan. and a little asterisk at the very end there because also December 31st, 1999 was Fantasia 2000. But when you go through and talk about The Rescuers Down Under, most people completely forget about that movie. They don't even think about the fact that Brent Dodge went there on his 6th birthday. Like, that's where he wanted to go for the movies. On his 6th birthday was go with his friends to The Rescuers Down Under. And did the other kids care? No. But did Brent care? Yes, because he loved Bernard. He loved Bianca. And then he also fell in love with Percival McLeach, Carahuta, Jack, or Jake, and Joanna. I love Joanna too. Actually, all the characters. Anyways, when the thing that I think is amazing about The Rescuers Down Under is look at all of the amazing Disney films that had come before 1990. We had classics like Peter Pan, Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland, Sleeping Beauty, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Dumbo, Bambi, so many classic characters that had come before 1990. However, we had one film that came out in 1977 called The Rescuers, starring Bernard and Bianca trying to find a little girl named Penny. And because of those two mice and their popularity in that film, even though it wasn't like an insanely popular film, but because of the popularity of that film, it was the very first ever film to get a sequel in theaters. In fact, it would be only one of 3 Disney films with an official sequel in the theaters. The other ones being Frozen 2 and Ralph Breaks the Internet and Fantasia 2000. So 3. There would be other ones that would be from different departments of the Disney company. So if you remember back in 2002, we had Peter Pan Return to Neverland, which is a telling of the story of Peter Pan with Wendy's daughter Jane going to Neverland, hence Return to Neverland. But that one was actually animated by Disney Toon Studio and not the Walt Disney Animation Studio. 2 completely different departments of the thing. Also, if you look at things like a Goofy movie, that's part of the Toon Studio, and then an extremely goofy movie, also part of the Toon Studio. Same thing with DuckTales and the Treasure of the Lost Lamp. I know what you're thinking. There's a lot of crazy things that I had going through. But anyways, that's besides the point. So The Rescuers Down Under would be the very first ever sequel that would come out in theaters, which still to this day completely blows my mind. Now, let's talk a little bit about some fun facts there, and then hopefully people in the chat room are talking. I haven't looked at the chat room for a while now, but hopefully people in the chat room are talking, so we can continue going through and talking about this tonight. But so this was not going to be the first movie that was going to be a direct spin-off of The Rescuers. If you've ever watched the 1988 classic, Oliver and Company, then you know that in that movie we have a girl whose name is Jenny who adopts a cat whose name is Oliver. Now, originally, the animators actually wanted to have it so Jenny was not Jenny, but she was actually Penny from The Rescuers. So Oliver and Company was actually going to be a spin-off of The Rescuers. And the whole idea was the family that adopted Penny at the end of the film, The Rescuers, would actually be in Oliver and Company and find Oliver and then adopt him as well. And part of the idea was that Jenny also knew what it was like to be an orphan, and that's why she wanted to take him in. However, because it was based off of Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens, they decided that maybe they should separate the 2 stories, but instead they would eventually go through and create a brand new story of The Rescuers Down Under, which would come out in 1990. So just 2 years later. Okay, any other questions out there while we continue going through here? The problem with The Rescuers and The Rescuers Down Under, I love the movies to death, but when you look at like different details in films, they don't have the most amazing details in the films. They are great movies. When we were talking earlier about Toy Story being the first computer-generated film, The Rescuers Down Under does have some great computer-animated scenes, including the flight of Cody at the very start of the film after he rescues the giant eagle. And then in addition to that, we do have the scene at the start of the film where it's going through all the different grasses, like does anyone know what I'm talking about? Probably not. But it's the first shot of the film where it kind of goes through all the different grass. that is a computer generated film as well. And then also going through and having, so the things are going from Australia out to New York for Bernard and Bianca to actually find out. Also, if I think about it now, is this the first time we've seen two animals propose to each other in a Disney film? I think it might be. No, Robin Hood. Never mind. All right, we have a question here. Let's go to this question. It's not even a question. Keep throwing your questions or comments into the chat room if you guys want to have it so we continue talking tonight. Chat room is really quiet tonight. Why are you guys so quiet tonight? I had been telling people Frozen came out in 2007 forever. Had no idea it was as recent as 2013. Yeah, so 2013. So it's been exactly 10 years. 10 years and about a week since Frozen originally came out. It is kind of mind-blowing that it came out only 10 years ago. However, I do feel like so 10 years ago, I vividly remember going to see Frozen, and Erica, you know Smelly Kelly. Smelly Kelly went with me. She wasn't smelly, but for those people who don't know her, Kelly and Erica used to be roommates. I went with her, and I went with my friend Alex, and then Louise and Lisa, and the five of us went to the midnight showing because that was back before, like now movies do like the preview movie, which is like the day before. Like for instance, yesterday you could see Wish at 3 a.m. or 3 p.m., which is crazy because it technically came out today, but it was a preview night show, but it's not even night anymore. Like it used to be at midnight was when the movie would start, and that's the only time you could see it because that was the first showing that they could legally do. And now you can do it whenever you want to. But I remember going to Frozen in theaters on that night, 2013. I can tell you exactly which theater I was in even. So if you go into AMC at down or Disney Springs and you go down the hall and you take the first right, and there's like a restroom on the left-hand side, we were the first theater on the right-hand side. And I remember being in there, and all these different people were cosplayed as Anna and Elsa, even though the movie hadn't even come out yet. And I remember everyone else saying, oh my gosh, like this movie's going to be huge. Like all these people are already cosplaying, and they've never even seen the movie. And it was at that moment that I started to realize that maybe this movie could be a pretty big deal. And it wasn't until after I remember watching the entire movie and being completely blown away. And then a few days later, talking to someone, they said, oh, yeah, I haven't seen Frozen. I said, you haven't seen Frozen? I know what we're doing today. And I canceled my plans, and we went over and we watched Frozen for my second time that week. And I think I saw it 4 times in theaters, which is crazy because usually I see movies maybe once in theaters, sometimes twice, but rarely more than twice, unless it's something like Star Wars or a Marvel movie that I really, really like. And every now and then I'll watch a Disney animated movie twice in theaters. But it's rarely do I ever watch a Disney movie more than once. And I mean, I guess there's been a lot of times now that I'm thinking about, like, I know I saw Enchanted in theaters multiple times. I saw Cars multiple times in theaters. I saw, never mind. But that's besides the point. But yeah, so it came out in 2013, and it was everywhere down here. And I think part of the reason that I remember it was, if it was 2007, I was not living down here in 2007. I was living down here in 2013, and everywhere you went, you heard Let It Go. Like, without a doubt, every Disney park was decked out in Frozen. You couldn't even go to Hollywood Studios without being reminded of the fact that Frozen was a movie, because they made an ice arena. That was the Frozen Ice Arena. It's where the second track of Toy Story the third track of Toy Story Mania currently sits. The one where after you go through the line, instead of going up the stairs, if you take a right and go right around where you just were at in line, that used to be an ice arena for Frozen. In addition to that, then they made another ice arena back by the Great Movie Ride, by the Studio Backlot Tour, by the exit there, and that became Frozen Funland, where everything was frozen. It was kind of mind-boggling how much it was. My daughter is currently obsessed. She called it Team Anna and doesn't care about Elsa at all. I don't understand why more people like Elsa than Anna, because I feel like Anna is so much more entertaining. At least in my opinion, I think Anna is so much more interesting, and so I think she's just more of a realistic character. than Elsa. She seems like more like a real person that you would meet. While Elsa just kind of seems cold. Pun. Okay. Anyone else out there have any questions about anything Disney? We can do movies. We can do parks. We can do whatever your heart desires. We still have about 10 to 15 minutes left of the episode tonight. Now I'm trying to think of more fun facts about Frozen. Frozen 2 obviously would come out in 2018, 19, 2019, 18, 19, 2019, 2019. You still have the Olaf bag from Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party in 2013. I definitely have it too someplace. I also have a Christmas ornament. If you went to Disney Springs that year, they had the Stitch scavenger hunt, which now they just do the Christmas trees. But they used to have little Stitch cutouts that were like yay big. And they would put them in different stores throughout Disney Springs, or downtown Disney as it was known then. And if you went through and you found them all, then they gave you a little Frozen Christmas ornament. And it's a plastic Christmas, or I mean, not even plastic, it's cardboard. But I got like 3 of them that year, and they all sit on my Christmas tree. I haven't put on my Christmas tree yet. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. While everyone else is with their families, I will be putting up a Christmas tree. Aww. Yeah, there's so much Frozen stuff. Do I have any Frozen stuff around here? I don't know what's over there. I can see something that says Frozen. I cannot spot exactly what it is from here. I just see the word Frozen up there. But Frozen really took the world by storm back in 2003. Also, so if you've not watched it yet, there is a short cartoon, or it's a series that is found on Disney Plus that goes through and has Olaf retelling different Disney stories. I came up and tweeted that idea at Disney the second I got out of the theater. I said, you guys need to do more cartoons like this. Disney Plus was not a thing at the point, so it must have been 2018 the movie came out. Disney Plus was not a thing yet, and I sent them the thing saying, hey, you need to make this a series. And then sure enough, a few years later, they actually made it into a series. So I don't know if they saw my suggestion or not, but I take full credit for the Olaf Presents series because I think it's just absolutely hilarious. Oh, wait, who out there has a question about anything or everything Disney? We're going through it and answering any questions about anything and everything Disney. We are at our highest amount of viewers for the night. It's still not a ton. We just lost 2. But tonight's episode does rely on you guys, so throw your questions out in the chat room. If you have a question about anything or everything Disney. Otherwise, we will be wrapping up a little early tonight. Let's check our subscribers here, too. Have we gained any new subscribers? We are currently at the same number, 3,478 subscribers on YouTube. Like I said, my goal is to have it so we hit 3,500 by the end of this weekend. We have been getting about 8 to 15 new subscribers for the last 4 days. So I'm hoping that we can continue that trend and get to 3,500 by Sunday at the latest. Although my videos today are not doing well. My short kind of took off and then just stopped and has not done anything for a few hours. And my video earlier today is doing okay. It's not doing great. Let's see. I'll show you guys all the details. Oh, if it lets me. Does it let me? Yeah, we want to go here, and then we want to see. So if you look at this blue line, wait. If you look at that blue line, you can see right at the start, it kind of went up and then just stayed at the same thing all this time. And then that gray area is when I'm typically at those hours. So right now it's saying typically I'm at least at 210 views, but it's not even close to that. It's pretty pathetic today. So I was hoping that we would like rise dramatically today, but sadly, unless something happens later on, we will be sitting not dramatically. We'll just be sitting and crying. Okay, if no one else has any questions out there, I think we will be wrapping up our episode a little bit early here tonight. We'll give a few more seconds here just to see if anyone throws out a question out there. And if no one does, we'll just wrap it up a little early. All right, so no other questions coming out. So I think we're going to wrap it up. We just had a few more people come on, so we'll just pitch the idea up there. If you guys have any questions about anything or everything Disney, throw your questions in the comments. We're giving you guys about 30 more seconds to throw in your questions, and then if nothing comes through, then we're going to wrap it up. Now our numbers are popping up like crazy. What are you guys doing here? You guys can't see this, right? The numbers, because that's a combination of both Facebook and YouTube. Right here, we just doubled our numbers. Haha, there we go. We got a question. Resort question. Which Christmas display is the must see? 1,000,000%. The one that I recommend more than anything is if you want to see just one resort, you want to go to Wilderness Lodge. I feel like Wilderness Lodge is the one that feels the most Christmassy to me. And that Christmas tree is one, absolutely gorgeous. And two, when you go in there, it's just one of the most amazing trees. And if you grow up, Candace, you're from Canada, see, but at the same time, you're probably not going to be like homesick for Canada. But sometimes for the holidays, I'm like, oh, like I miss a Wisconsin Christmas sometimes. I don't miss like the blaring cold. I don't miss that part. But sometimes you want to go through and have it so you get the Christmas feels. And Wilderness Lodge just kind of gives that northern world Christmas vibe. And that's what I absolutely love about it. So if you want to choose one, Wilderness Lodge. If you want to do a second one, I really like Yacht Club and Beach Club. Both of them have gingerbread house displays. And the Beach Club has a carousel. I have not seen this year's Yacht Club, though. They did add a gingerbread display that I have not seen yet. So I have to go check that out. People are saying that they've never had one before. They did have one briefly one year, and then it was transferred over to be part of the one over at Boardwalk, which is really weird. But that was like 12 years ago. So they had one briefly, but it lasted like a week, if that. Besides that, they always have like the train display, which is really cool too. But yeah, I would say Wilderness Lodge, and then Yacht and Beach Club, and then Grand Floridian. But Grand Floridian's not. I like the Grand Floridian. I like the tree. I like the gingerbread house, but I don't like it as much as a few other spots. I love Animal Kingdom Lodge as well. I think that's got a great Christmas theme. And then other places. I mean, I like the Pop Century tree. It's not the most amazing, but it's also not the worst. So yeah, there's a lot of different things that you should be checking out when you're going through and checking out the Christmas displays around Disney. But number one in my book is Wilderness Lodge. Always has been, probably always will be. And then actually you, Candace, are going to be experiencing another amazing thing with Disney, because on the Disney ships, they actually have a special gingerbread house on each ship, and each year they switch out as well. So my goal is one year to become filthy rich so I can experience all the different gingerbread houses on all currently 5 ships, but eventually it's going to be 6 ships and 7 ships and what have you. But I want to see all of them in the same year. That'd be amazing. You got back from Animal Kingdom. I was at Animal Kingdom. Oh, I just saw the name. I did not. You saw me, but I didn't see you. I've never seen Wilderness Lodge during the holidays. I'll check it out this on my birthday. I'm going to have a whole lot of firsts this trip. It's going to be a good birthday trip for you. Which day is your birthday again? You said Saturday? Sunday? I can't remember. Oh, wait. Any last questions before we wrap this bad boy up today? Wednesday the 29th, so a week from today. So on the Wednesday show, we're going to have a very merry, happy birthday Christmas. It's not a Christmas, but you know what I'm talking about. Okay, let's check out our subscriber count real quick in here. Maybe we went up. I am thankful that everyone out there is going to tell their family and friends tomorrow to subscribe to Brent Dodge on YouTube. That's what I'm thankful for this holiday season. We are still at our 3,478. Here, I'll show you the other thing here. So as you can see there, this is the month. You can see it started off kind of slow, and then the last few days it's been popping. So keep on sending people over. Although I think today we've had one new, so maybe it's none. I can't remember. It's either one or none. So I'm hoping for at least one. So send people over. But we're going to be wrapping up this episode right here. Before we go, however, we have talked a lot about Thanksgiving tonight. So I would like to first off send a massive, 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 massive happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there. And more importantly, I'd like to thank you guys specifically because over the last, it's been 14 years since we started doing this. It's 14 years of the Wednesday show. 14 years ago, I was a younger person, 25 years old, sitting in my childhood bedroom, and I was doing the Wednesday show from my parents' house and just talking about Disney to like 4 or 5 people, and that was about it. And enough people believed in me that I was able to write a book from screen to theme, and then write another book, a closer look, and then write another book, and then another book as well. And so a lot of the stuff that I've done, it wouldn't have happened without people like you in my life. So thank you so much to everyone out there for your support, whether you've been here for a day or if you've been here for 14 years. I truly, truly, truly cannot thank you guys enough. Like, you guys are amazing. Your support's amazing. The fact that you guys continue to support me and continue to put up with my ridiculous humor, but also you're able to mooch off my Disney knowledge. So it's a win-win for all of us. But thank you so much, everyone out there. Like I said, if you've been here for a week or a day or a million years, I appreciate every single person out there so much. And I hope you guys know that. I try to thank you guys enough, but sometimes I might fall flat. And if I do fall flat, that's what Thanksgiving's for. I've always loved Thanksgiving. I think it's just such a great holiday to just show appreciation and thanks. If you come across people tomorrow, just be thankful. I know some days, if you're in the parks, holidays are a rough day in the parks. Believe me, I know. But don't take it out on the cast members. They're without their families, and they're just trying to enjoy their day. So make sure you spread some cheer, spread some joy, and I hope everyone out there has a very happy Thanksgiving with your family or friends or time and a half or however you want to spend it. But I hope everyone out there has a very, very, very happy Thanksgiving. We will see you next Wednesday, as always, right here on the Wednesday show at 9:30 Central or Eastern, not Central, 8:30 Central. So make sure you join us every single Wednesday right here. But of course, as always, remember that anything can happen if you let it. Until next time, have a great week, everybody. Goodbye. Goodbye now. Goodbye. Bye-bye now. Goodbye now. Bye-bye. Oh, Toy Story 2. We talked about it earlier. Bye now. Are they gone? Are they gone? Oh, good. My cheeks are just killing me. I just can't stand this game.